Welcome back to Outriders. It is official, I'm going to say it's official after reading this, and this was sent to me by Turtlez, that we are nothing other than beta testers for this, as the developers described, a fully released product. People have paid £60 for this, and Square Enix, so I don't even know what People Can Fly are doing at the moment, but there was a Reddit post, and it was aimed at People Can Fly. Can we please have an update on the co-op servers / the P2P servers? So, hello PCF, can you please give us an update on what's going on and how you plan on fixing and improving the co-op servers and P2P? Now that it appears that the inventory wipe bug is fixed, fingers crossed, I've seen a couple of reports but nowhere near as many, and we can finally play in groups safely. I know your priority next is to give back people's lost inventory. Actually playing in group is terrible at the moment, especially when you're not the host. Even as the host is not any better, but when not the host it's extremely bad. When I matchmake and join a group, here are some of the issues I deal with. Number 1, major rubber banding. Desync, hit registry not working, I've had that one a lot. I've also had lag where I am the host and where I'm not the host. Abilities and skills not working correctly, especially Trickster's Hunt the Prey, Venator's Knife and Time Rift. Mods and talents not working in group. Getting randomly one shot and dying out of nowhere, I've had that one as well. I've had it where it shows health on my screen, which is mostly the case of me using a skill or something and getting health back after I die, but I also had it the other way round too, where I hit 0 health and didn't actually die. So I don't know if it is just visual, if something's messing up, but it's just another thing that needs fixing. Then number 7, game crashing or freezing. I've had one dashboard in the last week or two, although I don't really play co-op at all. Well, I don't play it at all. The only time I did was to test the campaign skip. But they carry on to say, this is just the tip of the major issue I face playing in co-op. It's just not fun, but I can see the huge potential, and that's what annoys me the most. Spending already almost 250 hours in Outriders, and it hasn't seemed to have got any better in co-op since the demo. I've been playing co-op since launch, even when it was risky. Didn't play a lot of co-op before the inventory wipe fix, but I played enough to compare with how the servers are today and nothing has changed. I'm still experiencing the same issues at a consistent rate. We're almost 3 weeks into the game's life, and while we all know PCF is working hard to fix things, I'm going to disagree with that. They're not working hard at all. They're just giving people updates and saying we are looking into it, which is what we hear with a lot of live service games. Many of us don't have a lot of confidence in the servers getting better for co-op, and it would be nice if we can get an update from PCF on this. I love the game a lot, but these P2P servers are really destroying my experience and making it really hard for me to stay positive. Please give us an update on how you plan on fixing the co-op P2P servers and co-op bugs and when we can expect this to be implemented. Thank you. So it wasn't a negative post, it was just a concern being raised. And they've also put their internet speed and their PC specs and everything. They're playing on Steam. All of that info is there. So, Square Enix, or someone from Square Enix, responds, thank you to everyone who's replied here or DM'd me, blah blah blah. I also want to reiterate that this reply is not us refuting that some players are experiencing problems. Rather, it's intended to explain the kind of info we need in order to better understand and resolve the issues you are facing. So, blah blah blah. It moves on to say, as a bit of background for how we've typically dealt with connectivity issues to date, whenever I noticed a large number of reports around connectivity for the game, I immediately checked in with the online team to see if we are encountering any connectivity problems. If they were not already aware, and they are aware most of the time, they then can check all of the systems and dashboards and either confirm that they are seeing the same issue or ask for additional details, which I then source. Since we resolved the server issues of the launch week, our metrics indicate no widespread problems that are impacting the entire community, so they haven't actually played this game, ever, anyone from the development or the publishing teams, because I'm pretty sure most, if not all, multiplayer matches will have a yellow or a red bar for their connection. And then it says, when we look at ping times for multiplayer games, they generally fall into acceptable ranges. No, they don't. That's not to say there aren't problems. There will definitely be cases where some players are indeed encountering issues, and you've quite rightly raised them in this thread after all. Whenever possible, we try to investigate. For the cases where we are able to identify an issue, we can address them in some manner. However, had we not found out from users where in the world they were accessing the game from, we would not have been able to identify South Africa as an issue. A South African Twitter user who says co-op is laggy, but doesn't state any details, is not providing the information we need in order to help them, especially when according to the metrics we're looking at, the overall connectivity for players appears to be normal. So you have to give them your national insurance number, like your government number sort of thing. You have to give them your address, your phone number. You need to tell them the times you go for a pee. They need to know absolutely everything about the issues you're having in the game. You can't just say that there's connectivity issues, have a large amount of people report it, because they need more info. They have to know exactly where you are in the world. They carry on to say, since launch, we've also made many other improvements to co-op connectivity that will have helped players in certain circumstances. The key thing, blah, 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 working with the community is so important, all the stuff we've heard from every other development and publishing team in the world. So they then go on to the pointers of exactly what they need info about. So when it says major rubber banding, desync, hit registry not working, please describe exactly what happens at what point. The more detail the better. Do you only encounter these connectivity issues in-game, during login, during matchmaking? Please provide a date and timestamp, also including your time zone of the latest instance where you encountered the above. What platform are you playing on? What's your username on the platform? If you'd prefer to keep this private, please DM me the username personally along with a link, so you still have to give your username whether you want to or not. If you're playing with friends, please provide their usernames privately as well. Were you the host of the client or the client during the incident? What region of the world are you in? If playing with friends, what region of the world are your friends in? Is the rubber banding in every single multiplayer game where you're the client, even when you connect in random matchmaking? What's your normal upload and download speed? What ISP are you with? So they even want to know your internet service provider. Are there any other peer-to-peer games that you play with the same friends unaffected by this issue? Note that Destiny is not a peer-to-peer game. So they want to know absolutely everything in order to get these problems fixed. I would say in some form it's acceptable, but not for a fully released game. And they're saying, are there any other peer-to-peer games that you play that have, like, with the same friends that you're unaffected by this issue? Well, no, because other games seem to actually spend money on their servers. They don't go the cheapskate route and buy the cheapest possible servers and then have all these problems come up. There's a game coming out soon that I'll be getting, and I was just going to get like the normal standard edition. It's called Hood, Outlaws and Legends. It's a PvPvE. There will be stuff on the channel soon. But I was going to just buy the normal edition of the game. And then I've watched a video that UK sent me, one of my friends from the channel. And he said, have a look at this, like, see if this, like, helps you make your mind up about the game sort of thing. I watched it and instantly, I'm going to buy the biggest edition. Because that year 1 edition comes with 3 battle passes completely free. Like, there's a load of bonus stuff, basically, 3 days early, all that good jazz. But the thing is, you look at their FAQ, does this game have dedicated servers? Yes, it does. We actually pay to have proper servers for our players so they don't encounter issues every single time they log into our game. We haven't gone the cheap route. We leave that to the big dogs. Because I'm pretty sure GTA has peer-to-peer as well. But then the next one, abilities and skills not working correctly, especially tricks to Hunt the Prey, Venator's Knife and Time Rift. I've had loads of people tell me that Hunt the Prey is not working properly. But then they said, I believe these aren't co-op specific and will be patched in future. So that's all we've got. Maybe 6 months down the line, a year, maybe 2 years down the line, will be fixed just in the future. Then mods and talents not working in group. That's also the case for solo. Getting randomly one shot and dying out of nowhere, probably because of the snipers and how strong they are, yet we, the players, get nerfed. So I noticed reports of these last week and attempted to investigate this matter further. However, all users who reported it were unable to precisely explain what was happening, or were unable to reproduce it. Many reported that the occurrence of this appears to be random. So, your game, your job, look into it further, find out exactly what the issue is. Get some people in that can actually test the game and stuff, and do what you were supposed to do before you worked on this game and told everyone that you spent 5 years on it. All information that I gathered was passed on for... Okay, that's really hurt my head. It was passed on for investigation, but random occurrences are incredibly difficult for us to track down. This is why we need as much info as possible with regards to these matters. So basically, if you don't tell them exactly what happens at what time, which day, which year you're in, whether you've come from the future or whether you're someone from the past or whatever, you have to tell them exactly when it happens, how it happens. You need to be able to reproduce it. It's got live service written all over it, and it's incredibly frustrating to see that that's the case, because Hunt the Prey, for those of you that play Trickster, that's not going to be fixed because they don't know how to sort the problem. They don't know what the problem is because they have no one in-house or whatever. They have no one in the companies that are actually able to test this sort of stuff. So then we move on to the game crashing or freezing. So you ready for this? Our upcoming patchwork should continue to look into and address these issues, but again, the more detail we have, the better. Which platform are you on? What exactly were you doing? Are you able to reproduce the crash? If so, what steps you take to reproduce it? If you're on PC, please provide your system specs, your CPU, your GPU driver version, your RAM, and your OS version. So they even want to know what version of your operating system you're running on. They want to know far too much stuff for what needs fixing. They don't have a clue what they are doing with this game. We are testing the game for them. That's exactly how this is. It's just, like, literally every day I go through the comments, I look at other videos on YouTube and stuff, and I every now and then, like, flick through Reddit, I go on Twitter and stuff, and it's just problem after bloody problem with this stupid fucking game. How can they sit there and say we need to know all of this stuff? They even need to know which service provider your internet comes from. That is ridiculous to ask a player for that much info just to reproduce a bug so that you don't have to. It's your game, your job, you fucking do it. I'm sick and tired of this. We had this with so many games now. We always have to reproduce these bugs. If you just make the game properly and release it without all these issues, nobody would have to do any of it. 5 years in development, or over 5 years in development, 3 delays and a month of an online demo, and there is still stuff going on with connectivity issues, as I've mentioned in previous videos. We're finding out, like, literally, in order to beat the downscaling in this game, you have to take a piece of armor off. They've built an end game that isn't an end game, because you can take a story weapon through to the end game and do everything with it just from leveling it up. All you do is grind, repeat, grind, repeat. That's it. You grind, you get like a strong build together, you level it up, you then go and take on the next tier, then you reset and have to do the same thing over again. There is no depth to this game. The devs and publishers don't have a clue what they're doing. Square Enix were really tight with their servers, and now there's issues for so many players across the world on all different platforms, especially PlayStation with their sign-in issues. And all they can do is just have the cheek to say that we need to reproduce all these issues. I'm just going to leave the video there. I can't be bothered. It's so frustrating that people are paying £60 and this is their experience. It would be like walking into a restaurant and paying, I don't know, say you pay £20 for a steak or something like that, just a random sort of meal. You take a bite into it and there's something funny, like the texture's different. They're going to ask for the fucking density of your saliva. They're going to ask for all this stupid stuff. Oh, what time of the day was you born? What day were you born on? We need to know all this stuff so that we can make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else in the future. No chance. Do your job. Do what you're paid to do. Figure this stuff out. But I'm gonna just leave the video there. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it.